And we're live.
We are indeed live. Saints fans, welcome back to another edition of Saints TV Live. I hope you are all well on this Monday evening. Max, how are you?
Yeah, doing all right. Good to have you back, Jordan. Had a very relaxing week. I had uni break for uni, obviously, so that was nice. And yeah, just got to chill out from all AFL drama and Saint stuff, and just have a nice week with my feet up. How about yourself?
Yeah, similar. I didn't really avoid the AFL drama, maybe Saints drama, but certainly not AFL drama given all that was happening on the weekend between non-St Kilda teams. It was a pretty exciting weekend of football, even if some of the teams that I wanted to win didn't win, but that's okay. No Saints TV podcast this week. Unfortunately, the boys are having their Mad Monday, so to speak. They're having a break, but they will be back next week. And we will not be here next week, but the following week, on Monday, the 2nd of October, we will be doing a watch along for the best and fairest. So make sure to tune into that. Max and I have both been asked by Jake to wear suits, so I'm sure that'll be very exciting for you guys to watch us in suits talk for 3 hours while the awards are presented. I couldn't have undersold this anymore. But please join. Should be good. Should be good fun. Have a couple of laughs. That should be good. Other news this week: Kevin Cowboy Neal unfortunately has passed away. I believe at the age of 78. Is that right, Max?
I'm going to take your word for it. I believe so.
Yep, so we'll just have on screen here. St Kilda posted this, and obviously a lot of comments, a lot of stuff in the news about how Kevin was a remarkable player, not just a remarkable player, but also a remarkable human. I unfortunately didn't get the chance to meet him more. I'm assuming that his prime was a bit before my time, probably a couple generations before my time. So I'm sure he was a terrific player, and we hope that he will hope that his family are doing all right, and that anyone who knew him is doing okay. And yeah.
Yeah, nice words, Jordan. And yeah, I think Jakey said on Saints TV Live today. Yeah, today it was. That he didn't quite appreciate how good Kevin Neal was until he watched that 66 premiership, I think, at St Kilda a few weeks ago, or a month or two ago, maybe. Apparently kicked 5 goals. I didn't know that in the grand final. And, if it wasn't for a little bit more accurate set shot goal kicking, he would have, I don't know, probably had 8 or 9, Jakey reckons. So, yeah, terrific player, and sounds like he was an absolutely terrific person. Unfortunately, neither of you or I got to meet him.
Yep. Okay, well, we'll move on from Kevin Neal. Obviously, it's very, very sad, but we do move on. The AFLW was on the weekend, round 3. We unfortunately went down to Port Adelaide, and it seems that the Port Adelaide women are faring much better than the Port Adelaide men, given they won on the weekend and the blokes didn't. We did lose by, I think, how much did we lose by? Was it?
We lost by 12.
I believe we lost by 12. I thought it was an 8-point margin.
Maybe I've typed that in wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, sorry. Maybe let's just fact check that, Jordan. Do you want to go over who was best on for the Saints?
Okay, so if we have a look at the stats here, we've got Jamie Lambert, were 16 disposals, 9 tackles, 2 goals, played a terrific game. Tiana Smith, 16 disposals as well, and another 9 tackles. Hannah Priest, as usual, terrific, 20 disposals and 8 tackles. And we've got a clip here. I'm not sure. Some of you might have seen it on social media. There was a ridiculous moment in the game. We'll just take a look at this right here.
It's pinched. Tahoe shrugs a tackle, straightens up. It's still alive. It's right there. It's a goal. Umpires are going to confer it. So the question is, was it going to hit the post or the umpire? Here's another look. That's sailing through for a point every day of the week, and Plain doesn't get a finger on it.
You cannot blame the umpire for being in that position, though.
What a ridiculous bounce. That's nuts. Where was that bounce 13 years ago for Lenny Hayes in the 2010 grand final?
It's bullshit. Why I bring it up? But uh, so yeah, fact check that, Jordan. I did type it in wrong into our notes. It was a 48-56 loss to the Powers, so 8 points, not 44-56 as I accidentally typed in.
Yep, that's all right. Anyway, this, as you can see from the title of this video, the title is "Let's Chat About the Season That Was." So as we shall move forward, let's chat about the season that was. What a good season, I would say. What were the good things that came out of this season, Max?
So, year of exploration. First of all, the defensive structure, it held up all year, only leaked the one sort of 50-plus point loss to Adelaide early on in the year. But besides that, every loss we sort of had, even including that GWS one, not more than 4 goals. Defensive structure is absolutely sound. And the ball use between the flanks. So it's not just our defensive structure. We didn't just stop teams from scoring inside their own 50 and making it hard for them. We actually exited the ball out of our 50 better than most teams in the comp, I believe. First 9 rounds, we were ranked 1 in ball use between the arcs, and then towards the end of the season, we were ranked 4th or 5th, but still in that upper echelon of teams. Then also, we just blooded the kids. Owens coming off a 3rd place Rising Star nomination, finish, not nomination, finish. Averaged just over a goal a game, 4.5 score involvements, and just about 3 inside 50s a game. Only missed 1 game this year from concussion against the Giants early on. And then Nasai Wanganeen-Balira as well. Let's call it 24 disposals a game, 450 metres gained, and going at 76% disposal efficiency, didn't miss a game. So them two specifically had outstanding seasons. And then Philippou was big in moments, had 3 goals against the Dogs, and just had some big moments that made you think, oh, shit, he's actually all right here. Windhager and Caminiti as well just played their roles. And, yeah, who thought Caminiti would have stuttering a bit. Who thought Caminiti would have played, 15-odd games this year? Because I didn't even know who he was in January.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the AFL world knew who he was, given he was about to start a degree. He was about to do engineering at Monash and ended up playing 15 games for St Kilda and played half a final, which I'm not sure what you discussed last week, what you thought of his game. I thought it was pretty subpar. But, he's still a first-year player. He's got a lot to learn and hopefully can make improvements going into next year. If you were to give a rating, Max, I've left a note in the comments asking people what their thoughts are. If you had to rate our season out of 100, because I don't like ratings 1 to 10. I don't think it encapsulates enough. I think it's, I feel like 7. People usually give like 5 for average, 7 for good. Like I feel like 100 gives a very broad, very accurate representation. So, Max, what would you give our season out of 100?
So you don't like
our season out of 100?
You don't like when people do like a 7.2 or out of 10?
Well, I feel like a rating out of 10 implies it's got to be a whole number, but a rating out of 100, feel free to give whatever rating you want.
All right. My rating for the year, I reckon, was 84. I reckon it was better than, what everyone expected. Every week in the finals, as we said, blooded the youth. Ball movement was great between the 50. Defensive structure was awesome. Played with God knows who played in the forward line. Zane Cordy, Caminiti, Owens, Philippou, King, there was so many different. Hayes was there for a game. There was so many different players going through that forward line that, probably understandable why we didn't kick as many goals as we did sort of through that, what would you call it, 3rd quarter of the season. Sort of that 5-game stretch in games sort of 15 to 20 or maybe 10 to 15, somewhere around that mark. So, yeah, I give it about an 84 for us. Just because if we won a final, it would have been 90 plus. But yeah, anyway, about an 84. What do you reckon, Jordan?
Well, you stole my line there. I was going to say it's a 79 and would have gone definitely into the early the low 90s had we won a final. I was really hoping that we would. Obviously, I want to win, as much as possible and get as close to the cup as we can. But we've talked about finals experience, and Jake's mentioned on the podcast, you've got to lose a final to learn how to win it at the end. We saw Melbourne lose one, Geelong lost a lot before they eventually won the flag. It's just clear that, unless you're a team like Richmond that shocks everyone and comes out of nowhere to win a flag, you've got to lose one. And that's fine that we lost, but I would have liked to win one so that we've got 2 finals games under our belt rather than one. And I felt like that was a very winnable game. Home final at the MCG. The Giants, it turns out, are a very good team. So, in hindsight, not that bad of a loss. Well, not in hindsight, retrospectively, I guess not that bad of a loss. But, it would have been nice to play another final, get even more experience. But I'm still going to go with 79. Played the youth, explored the list somewhat. Sorry?
Oh, we explored finals as well.
Oh, we explored one final. But yeah, Ross knows what we need to improve. It's clear that he and Sauce have got some work to do over the summer, and we'll talk about what we should be looking for or who we could be going after in a bit. But yeah, I would consider this a successful year and look to be aiming towards the top 8 again next year, and then maybe even the top 4 in 2025.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. And yeah, so we'll hopefully try and get some of your thoughts, Saners. Comment through, but also starred comments are for fan cam. So please, you're welcome to hop on with Jordan and I, have a chat about the season. Probably the most broad week we'll have on Saints TV Live for a fair while, at least. It has been for this season, so you really can share, I don't know, share whatever you want really about the Saints and how the year's gone. But moving on, sorry, you go, Jordan.
Oh, I was going to say, even if it's not about the Saints, we can just chat about general footy, I guess, because there's not much Saints content. Which leads me to my next point, Max. Who do you want to win the flag from here?
I'm not answering that. I don't want to see anyone win the flag. I hate most of the teams that are playing in the 4 or in the prelim. I think just for culture, I think I'd love to see Collingwood Blues grand final, because I think that'd be insane. Yeah, I don't know. What does the MCG hold? A little over 100,000, then plus 15,000 a standing room. Like I don't know. You'd try and pack as many people as you can, and that'd probably be the most viewed event in Aussie sports, or at least in attended event in Aussie sports. So I don't know. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Obviously, Collingwood win it, but not like Carlton can piss off. But anyway, yeah. I'm done with it. I don't really care.
As a professional Carlton hater, I was absolutely devastated that they won their 2 games. That is actually how I introduce myself to people. People ask, "What do you do for a living, Jordan?" I say, "I'm a professional Carlton hater." So yeah, that's my title. I hate Carlton more than any other team. Maybe even hate them more than I love St Kilda. But for me, although there is a big sound that's playing on Friday night, I've got to go with this. I've got to go with the Maggies. I just want to see them win a flag. Dad's a big Pies fan. So, yeah, GWS winning after they beat us, some would say that it's, you want the team that's beaten you to win it all, because it shows that, it's an honourable loss. But I don't buy that mentality. I really wanted Port to smack them on Saturday night, and unfortunately didn't, because Port pooped their pants. But, yeah, I really hope Collingwood smack GWS, and a lot of people are going to be... I can see a lot of people unhappy with me looking at the comments about picking Collingwood to win, but yeah, that's just what I want. But I will live at the end of the day. As long as Carlton don't win it, I'll be fine.
All right. Well, enough of that.
That's the take home message. Is Carlton suck. All right.
Enough of that, Jordan. What went wrong this year?
Probably health. We just the best ability is availability, and we just weren't available, most of our players. Like we had 14 of our best 22 or something, okay, I don't think it was 14 of our best 2, but 14 players in our list being injured going into round 1 was quite, unfavourable. Obviously, you also had Tim Membry, and thoughts go out to him and hope he's doing well. Missing the elimination final. We just had consistent injuries and players missing throughout the entire year. In terms of structure, probably entries inside forward 50 was pretty bad. Maybe not as bad as Melbourne on Friday night. But yeah, still not great. If we just take a look, I'm trying to find a comment that I saw earlier. I really hope I can find it very quickly. Here we go. This comment from Dylan: we definitely need to strengthen the midfield to be a genuine top 4 chance. I agree wholeheartedly with Dylan here. The midfield was probably our weak area. That was probably not what we were good at this year.
Yeah, I think that's easily the biggest one that we need to improve on, because you look at the forward line and you go, yeah, we didn't kick as many goals, but the goal scoring ability is there, right? Like, you didn't get King for a full season, and we've still yet to see King break out and kick 60 plus goals, because I think that King's had 2018, he got drafted, obviously missed that year. So 2020 was the first, 2019 he missed that year because of the ACL, was it? Or I don't know, it was something, maybe stress fracture in his back. I can't quite remember. 2020 was his rookie season. Then he's had a few years here and there. It's now time for Max King next season. It's time for Max King to kick 60 plus goals and assert himself as a top 5, top 4 Coleman medalist player. And then you've got the likes of Higgins and Higgins and Butler, who probably need to step up and kick over 30 goals each. Because I don't think either of them did that I don't think both of them did that this year. And then you just expect Tim Memory to be back, or Cooper Sharman to have a full season in the best 23 now, 22. So yeah, I think the forward line has the capacity to kick a lot of goals. It's just about getting them, as you said, Jordan, all on the park together. Which also now brings me into, I guess, a little bit prematurely in this episode, who do we bring in from free agency, Jordan?
Well, if we take a look at a comment from Dale that I've seen here, should we look at Travis Boak? All right, we've looked at him, and that's all we'll do. We've seen him now. Travis Boak is like 34 years old, Dale. No disrespect, but I think we need to be looking at someone a little bit younger, possibly someone in their mid-20s to help us win. Like, there's not much point bringing in someone who's 33, 34, 35 years old and, well into the twilight of their career. Like, he would ask for big money as well, and he's probably not even leaving Port Adelaide, really.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know about Boak. I don't think he's the right person. It's not like he's an Isaac Smith who went from Hawthorn to the Cats for his last couple of years and still was unbelievable. But I think Travis Boak is done. Beth maybe reckons mentor, expert, technical forward coach. I don't think he's ready to be coaching, but maybe a mentorship, sort of like Paddy Ryder did. Not that he has to play every game, or if any games really, but to sort of have that experience for the right amount of money, almost like an on-field coach, what sort of Shane Mumford did at GWS for those few years or last sort of bits of his career in the ruck. I think maybe, but look, I'd probably be steering clear if Travis Boak is wanting to play AFL level football next year. Oh, what comment did you just pull up?
This is a very interesting comment. Brody Grundy, I would say, frick no. Brody Grundy, that's like, guys, come on, come up with legitimate suggestions. Here's a good
one. Hugo Rouse-Smith, I didn't realise he was probably on the market. I don't know if he's out of contract or what, if he was even looking out of Richmond, but a player like him is absolutely what we need. Young gun, I think he played predominantly off the halfback this season at Richmond, but has got a lot of pace, and in the coming years will become a midfield type player, or inside mid. It plays very, very similar to a. I've lost.
Is it a Tigers player who you're thinking of, or who do you think?
I've had a complete blank. Someone paced through the midfield. Anyway, sorry, Bailey Smith plays very similar to a Bailey Smith, in that he's very explosive. All right. Anyway, no.
I'm not mocking you. It's just a good choice because of the
mullet.
The long mullets. Yeah. That's just funny. No, but that's a genuine point. They're both very explosive to the midfield. So it's just funny.
Yeah, no, that's sorry. I was thinking Jack Sinclair because of the hair, and I'm like, that's not who I'm. Anyway,
you were close. Anyway, he is. I've just taken a look. Sorry, Max, he is out of contract. I believe the Giants were interested in him regarding the negotiations over Jacob Hopper last year. They inquired, they wanted Richmond to include him in the deal, and Richmond said no. So it'll be interesting to see. He hasn't given any indication that he wants to leave. It looks like Bailey Smith will probably be headed down the Princess Highway to Geelong, but I wouldn't mind having him in our midfield. I reckon that'd be pretty good.
I thought they were holding off talks on Bailey Smith. They said they're going to wait till next year to make a decision on him because they've got the trio of Norton, English, and Bailey Smith all to take care of next year. And I think they're going to try and give another go with Bailey Smith.
I think that's the Bulldogs' perspective, but in this modern era of player empowerment, I think that Bailey's my gut feeling is that Bailey's going to end up down at least at somewhere other than the Bulldogs this season. They've been playing him out of position. I don't think his body language indicates that he's not happy down at the kennel. So, I would take him at Moorabbin. Saints fans, let us know whether you want Bailey Smith down here. I would take him in a heartbeat. But yeah, who are the common targets we've mentioned? Liam Henry is nominated St Kilda, and make sure to check out Jake's video on that. But others include Paddy Dow, Mabior Chol, as Max has listed him on the run sheet that I've got in front of me, and Buku Kamas. Am I pronouncing that right? I think he's interested in him.
Buku Kamas. Yeah, no, I was just sort of going through the free agents today, just sort of looking at who was available, who might be interested in joining St Kilda, and I don't know, as you can sort of see, the key theme from that is just explosive players. Whether Mabio Chol is the right sort of player for us, he's a Ford ruck hybrid. Yeah, maybe provides a little bit more insurance for Marshall next year. Also, probably could compete with Jack Hayes for that role as pinch hitting ruckman, secondary sort of third tall forward. Maybe he's someone that we're interested in. I know he wants to go get out of Gold Coast, and then Buku Kamas played the entire year pretty much at VFL level, kicked 50-something goals, which I think was third in the equivalent of the Coleman medalist for VFL. Sort of a medium forward, but can play up the grounds. Just another marking target, very similar to how Membry was a few years ago, just in that he's a good marking target up on or high half forward on the wing. But most importantly, he's young and he's extremely explosive, which we don't really have many players like that at St Kilda, even if he is size-wise similar to like a Sharman or a Membry.
Yeah, I'm just pulling off this comment here from Gus. I agree wholeheartedly. I really like James Jordon. I think he's got a lot of untapped potential. I think he played 18 or 19 games this year for Melbourne. He played, I think, pretty much all games in 2022 and 2021 for the D's, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
But yeah, I reckon he's got a lot of untapped potential. I would be willing to move on. There was a comment I saw from Bem that sums up what I was going to say. He's basically a more healthy Bytel. We need more grunt in the midfield. We need more grunt in the midfield, and James Jordon suits that. I would get rid of Billings for him. I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I don't think Billings is probably worth as much as we'd like him to be, just because he hasn't played AFL level football consistently in the last 2 years. I think James Jordon, absolutely go for him. He's young. He's, as you said, explosive, and he's a bull inside. Sort of gets overshadowed by Viney, Petrarca, and Oliver in that, insane midfield at Melbourne. But him and Paddy Dow, I really want to get Paddy Dow. He's sort of proven over the last 7 games of footy that he's capable of playing AFL after, what was it? I think he was another 2018 draft pick as well, maybe 2017. Of him just sort of being a great training player, not a great AFL level player. Looks like he sort of put it together this season, and who knows, Sauce might be able to snag another Carlton player for us.
This is an interesting comment here from Shaffer. Gold Coast won the VFL Grand. I think they win the VFL Grand Final.
They did. Oh, actually, hold on. I don't think it's been. Has it been played?
I saw some post about it. Maybe. Let me take a look. Guys, can we get a fact check on this? It's Gold Coast versus Werribee this Sunday at Icon Park. And that's very interesting, given if Gold Coast win the flag, they'll be the first non-Victorian team to win the VFL. And surely you have to change the name from VFL Gold Coast win the whole thing.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny. But VFL Gold Coast is pretty stacked, and they've got more talent coming through. They've got 3 projected top 10 picks in their academy. So they're going to be making, like as I said before, Marbio Troll, they're going to need to get rid of him to get that draft capital to then get their 3 academy players. I think they've got a key forward in there and then 2 pretty strong on ball mids. So look, awesome to see more talent out of Queensland go or stay in Queensland, but that's a great time for us to sort of take advantage of it, not overpay for too many players, but yeah, try and get some AFL worthy players into our list. And yeah, why not? One I really like to get is Charlie Constable, actually. Do you know much about Charlie Constable, Jordan?
I can't say. He's a Gold Coast bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, so he played 2 games at the start of the season. Oh, awesome. Dale's put up there. Played the first 2 games of the year and got dropped just out of favour. He was a Geelong boy. I don't think was Geelong before moving to the Gold Coast. Yeah, he didn't get a lot of opportunity in that back line, sort of plays a similar-ish role to Liam Stocker. Granted, he was drafted as a midfielder and then has been put down back. So he's a pretty decent kick of the footy. For the first 2 rounds was taking those kick-ins for Gold Coast. And screwed up my super coach year because that was awesome. But anyway, I'd like to get him because he'd be cheap as chips, and I'm sure he'd want him to be back in Melbourne. Went to school at Haileybury as well, so yeah, he's pretty local boy.
Yep. Darren, just replying to your comment, I believe that Dylan, I've got a source quite close to Dylan, and I believe he's got his heart set on North Melbourne. He'll be a Kangaroo by the end of the trade period. I'm not sure. I can't remember if he's out of contract or if he's got to get a trade from Sydney. But yeah. I know he'll be a Kangaroo by the end of the trade. By the end of the trade season. I'm not sure if the delistings happen before the Monday Night Live last week, Max.
No, they got released the day after, I think.
Okay, so we haven't had a chance to talk about it, so that might be a good segue here from Argives. What did you think of the 4 delistings? For those who don't know, it was Jack Vitale, Jack Peris, Leo Connolly, and Oscar Adams who have been delisted. Max, what did you think of that?
At first, I was in shock of Jack Vitale, but then and a little bit of Jack Peris as well. But then I quickly thought, I'm like, oh well, actually, if we're getting Liam Ryan in, he's a like-for-like player for Jack Peris. Or very similar, and just got a bit more experience and probably is a bit better than him in the long run. But Leo Connolly didn't play a whole lot. I think he played 2021 was his last game, and that was about it. Oscar Adams didn't debut, so he's just another long line of Saints fullbacks that sort of never really made it out of Linton Street. So look, I think the big one was Jack Vitale, and I hate to see him go, but he's going to be an AFL level player somewhere else. I would hate to see it. Geelong is probably the most likely option for him. They need young talent. They need young inside bulls because their midfield is probably weaker than ours, and he could probably fit in quite well for that. I also see Dale saying North Melbourne. Yep, North Melbourne's another good shout, but yeah, I reckon he'll be on wherever he goes, he'll succeed, which is going to suck because we weren't obviously able to get the most out of him, but yeah.
Yep. I was also like you. I was initially shocked about Jack Vitale, but it does kind of make sense given he never really got his body right. Suffered a lot of injuries, which would have been the reason why he wasn't off another contract. I do agree with Beth here. I thought Jack Peris was still no injuries to him. He was a bit stiff. He played in the forward line. It wasn't Liam Ryan doesn't play in the forward line. Given Liam plays in midfield. Liam Henry. Liam Ryan does play in the forward line. Given Peris plays in the forward, I was a bit surprised by this one.
I think, look, I actually think it was, I think along with many Sainers, it was pretty stiff. He got dropped in the first place. So I don't even think he played that bad in his debut and only game this season. But I think what Ross is trying to do is that you want less small forwards. You want more players that can cover the ground. You've got Higgins, you've got Butler, Ollie Houghton. probably more of a mid-high half forward player, but might be insurance for them next year if he gets a game, whatever have you will. But yeah, I think Ross is just looking for speed, and can you play just about, or can you play multiple positions? So Liam Henry plays on the wing, high half forward. I'm sure you could probably inject him into the midfield at spurts, sort of like a Cozzy Pickett-esque player. But yeah, I don't know. I think that Ross just wants versatility on the list and speed.
Yep. You've got a couple of names on our run sheet, Max, of people who could be out the door. One of them I 100% agree with. Actually, two of them I agree with wholeheartedly. Jack Billings is I would get rid of him, and also Jade Gresham I would let walk. Doesn't seem that St Kilda are too interested in bringing him back. It was more just polite answer, like you know what I mean, like just media. What's the word I'm looking for?
Media attention. Good
no,
press.
No. It's just press? Like the responses that you give just to tide things over to the media and not say, oh, we're going to get rid of him at the end of the year. It's just like, yeah, we'd like to have him back, but they weren't like, oh, we're going to have him back at all costs. I can't think of the word right now. It's on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, it was just like, it's not a PC response. Like I don't know the word, but anyway, it was just, sorry? It
was a generic response?
Not generic. Not formal, whatever. You know what I mean? It was just like,
it was your stock standard.
Stock standard sort of, not trying to ruffle any feathers, but doesn't really seem like they're so interested in bringing him back. And to be honest, I'm not that interested in bringing in Jay. He did have a good elimination final, but I think he's too selfish, to be honest. That was a blunt answer. But yeah, I wouldn't bring him back to the St Kilda Football Club. Even if we only got a second rounder as compensation, I think that's fine.
Yeah. So do we get anything back in return for Jade Gresham? Because, if North Melbourne are getting pick 3 for buddy Ben Mackay, we deserve, the next 2 first rounders or next 2 first years worth of picks, surely, because that's obscene that Ben Mackay will get.
There's a rule. The AFL haven't actually announced it. It's their secret. I say secret, it feels weird saying secret, but it is actually secret. They've got some sort of hidden formula that they use to calculate what the compensation is for free agents. And it's roughly 800 grand a year on a multi-year deal triggers first round compensation, which is why Sydney are likely going to offer that to Ben Mackay. So North Melbourne will get pick 3 as compensation. But yeah, I can't see Jay Gresham getting offered 100k a year from Carlton or Essendon. So it looks like it'll just be second round. If he gets something in the vicinity of 500 to 600k a year, which is probably what he'll get. Yeah, but I'm happy to take the second round. There are some players that just need to move on, and he's one of them for me. I'm done with him.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know. I'm not. I hate the compensation rule. It makes zero sense if you can't retain your players and if you can't provide a good workplace environment and this and this. Then boo-hoo. It's sport. It's not like, I don't know, anything else. You shouldn't be able to get handouts from the AFL just because you've mismanaged your players or they want to leave. Because anyway, enough of that. We're not getting into that. But the big
I thought you were about to jump into a political. You were like, it's sport, not like anything else. I thought you were about to jump into a political discussion there. And
no, I'm never political. No, but the big one I've got, Jordan, and Saints fans may hate me for this. Saints fans might agree. I might probably split them 50-50. Sebastian Ross, mate, he did nothing bad this year. Like, let's not get this mistake. He did nothing bad this year. He just didn't do anything amazing either, right? And I know even some of the boys on the potty, they might disagree with me. I might even split them 50-50 down the middle. He's the third highest midfield minutes player in St Kilda. Does his impact in the midfield outweigh the benefit that could be had from injecting Philippou, Owens, Hunter Clark, Marcus Windhager, just putting more youngsters or more people with pace in the midfield? Not Jack Sinclair, he should stay at halfback. But does that, what does Seb Ross provide now versus what could we get out of his role moving forward? If we gave the role to someone else.
this would have been my answer from Mr. DJ Ruboy summed it up perfectly. I would give him a 1-year deal because I think he is a good veteran presence. He's been through the tough times. He knows how to handle situations. He's played in 2 finals now, which is double the amount that most of our team has played in. I think he's got 3 or 4 kids now, so knows how to deal with family stuff. You can't underestimate the importance of personal matters, as we've seen, on and off the footy field. I think just genuine maturity. He'd be good. You mentioned Hunter Clark as someone who could take his place in the midfield. I think Hunter Clark's a bit soft, to be honest. There was a guy screaming behind me, acting like a nutter at the elimination final, saying all sorts of stuff that wasn't quite PG rated about Clark and Gresham, but I thought he was, he expressed it like a Neanderthal, but he was pretty spot on, to be honest. Like Clark was pretty soft, can't really lay a tackle, and he's been doing it all year. He's not very fast. I wouldn't say get rid of him, but I would say that if you're getting rid of Seb Ross to give Hunter Clark more time, I would say no. If you're doing it to give Filippo and Winhager more time, I would understand. I wouldn't say yes, but I would understand. I reckon that's a fair answer. But here's my one, Max. You had your Seb Ross.
Sorry, Jordan. I just want to show that.
Oh, go ahead.
No, just I completely have split the fans here. You don't win flags with Seb Ross in the midfield. I agree. Mitchell sort of agrees as well. Thomas agrees, but then Beth is on the same point as Mr. DJ Rude Boy, which is probably the most accurate. Just sacrifice your salary a little bit and be more of a leader. That's probably the ideal role. Then Chris says, leave Ross alone. Naga reckons I'm too harsh. I think Dale's probably on the same side as Chris and Naga. But yeah, it's an interesting topic because we've grown such an attachment to some of these players that have, been there, as you said, through that Richo era and sort of transitioned us through the rough times. But just because we've got sentimental value to a lot of these players, what does their future look like under Ross Lyon?
Looks like a couple of people agree with my Hunter Clark call.
And I don't think it's an inaccurate one as well, but I've got a soft spot for Hunter Clark because I love him.
All right, here's one that I know that you're not going to agree with. So there was a comment earlier about why I support St Kilda, given my dad's a Collingwood fan. It's because my mum and all mum's side who I go to the footy with usually big Sainers, so I was indoctrinated there. But my dad has got a massive soft spot for St Kilda as well, and my mum, my dad, and I went to the elimination finals together, and what he pointed out, and is what I've been saying for a long time, is that Max King needs to take a leaf out of Cooper Sharman's book and start leading at the footy. Here's my big call, Max. I don't think St Kilda win a premiership with Max King in the side. I would trade him now. I think he's lazy. I think he has all the talent in the world. I don't think he leads enough at the football. I think he's a bit arrogant. I think if he wanted to work on his game, I think he could. I think we're too King centric. I like how versatile. I would not have him. I would trade him. That's my big call. There's so many people going to be. Yeah, so many people just aren't happy with that, and Max is also furious with that call there to get rid of Max King.
Pardon my French sayings, but Jordan, you're a fucking idiot.
Are you? What I'm saying, mate. If you look at that, if you look at what Cooper Sharman does versus what Max King does, people will come back to this in 3 years' time, where Max has not improved at all. Oh boy, this is
You're an idiot. Jesus. All right.
That's my opinion. I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm saying if the right trade comes along, I would look elsewhere. No, the right trade would be in a top 10 draft pick and another established talent, and maybe another couple of seconds and thirds. But he doesn't lead the football. He's he's genuinely lazy. Is he not lazy?
No, Jordan. I agree that he needs to attack the footy more, and he needs to be that aggressive, not Fraser Gerricus esque player where you just use your physical strength, but that Rewalt player where you can just run up and down. If you're not getting into a game early on, you get more of the ball up on the high half forward wing area just to get yourself a few touches. I 100% agree with that. He needs to become a little bit more active in the forward line, I think is the right word. It's just get more movement because he's a physical specimen. He's over 200 centimeters tall. He's definitely not slow. He can jump it, mark the ball at its highest point, higher than just about anyone in the league, including Ruckman. But yeah, to trade him is, I don't know. That's we're just going to move on from that. That's oh my god.
Well, do you not think that there are? I've got a comment here from Bem that it's talking about a forward coach to develop a forward craft, but there are some things you can't teach footy IQ, and that's something that Cooper Sharman, why we recruited him, because he has footy IQ. He knows how to lead. He knows where to be. He knows how to lead at the football, and he's just in the right spots. And Max King, if the ball's not in his hands, if it's not dumped on his head, he doesn't do anything.
I think this one's somewhat accurate, but not entirely true. King hasn't got body strength. I agree that he doesn't have strength when the ball's kicked on his head one-on-one. He is able to get pushed and shoved around a bit, but I don't think he's not strong. I just don't think he's that sort of player where he's going to anchor his feet into the ground and, yeah, as I said before, be that Fraser Garrick that just push people out the way in the forward line. He's going to use his strength by running and leaping at the ball and playing more like Aaron Norton, who uses his weight and strength to just launch himself at the footy and take big pack marks or, mark the ball on the lead and that sort of thing. I think that's where his physical strength lies. It's going to be running and jumping at the ball, using that explosiveness to get up high, not to wrestle players on the ground, like the Stephen Mays and the Harris, or maybe not Harris Andrew. He's not a great example, but trying to think of fullbacks now. I can't even think of any. Ben Mackay's a pretty strong player. He's someone that likes to wrestle but doesn't like to run. Anyway, you guys know the sort of... Pardon?
Wiedering?
Yeah, Wiedering's another one of those players that likes to wrestle on the ground and not run. Tom Barras is probably another one of those players, except he's amazing. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. But I think that's overly critical of a 22-year-old who has all the capabilities in the world to be not only a Coleman medalist, but one of the, probably putting way too much.
But here's my question to you, Max. This is a genuine question. What age or what season do you say enough is enough? You need to have learned how to lead towards the football, how to building up muscle. Like genuinely, what is the age where you would say enough is enough? Where do you draw the line? Is it 25? Is it 28?
I'd say that in the next 2 years, it's this is purely as a fan perspective. This is not coaching related or footy expertise, but as a fan perspective, you want to see him kick around 110 to 120 goals over the course of the next 2 years, regardless if he's running at the footy, if he's wrestling players, whatever have you will. I think the next 2 years is about getting his output in front of goal up, because he has been probably scrutinised the first few seasons of his career not kicking straight. Let's get that sorted for the next 2 years.
But Max, if they're too king-centric, I'm sorry to cut you off, but if they're too king-centric and they just kick it to him, obviously he's going to kick a lot of goals.
Yes.
Yeah,
but that means you also have to mark the ball to get it.
But that could be at the expense of other options. Yes, if they kick the ball to him inside 50, he might mark it 2 times out of 10. So yes, if you keep doing that every time, he's obviously going to get goals. But it could come at the expense. I'm not saying it will necessarily, but it could come at the expense of other players having their own goals. So I'm not sure if that's a fair comparison. Also, this Tom Hawkins comparison. Tom Hawkins has put in a body of work compared to Max, and was putting in a body of work at a young age.
Okay, they're also 22 years old. Right, he's still Jordan. He's literally 3 years older than us, and I think that if you were to say in 3 years' time you were the most complete version of yourself, you would be both of us would be kidding ourselves because I know I can't say that about myself. So you grow leaps and bounds in footy if you put in the work, and I'm sure that at one point or another, whether this off season or next, it's going to happen. And you think with Ross Lyon at the helm, it will happen. This is not someone. No disrespect to Brett Ratton, I don't think he's the sort of coach that would get the most out of Max King. And I don't think, not that King really played under Richo, but I don't think Richo was the coach to get the most out of Max King. But Ross Lyon has proven that he can get the most out of not just his role players, but out of his stars as well. You think Rewalt, Cozzy, Goddard, with those three sort of pillars in the forward line, and then also down back, you think key forwards, Jason Blake, Gilbert, Zach Dawson. I can't believe I'm saying his name, but you know what I mean? Like he gets the most out of the people he puts on the field, and I think it's preposterous to think that he won't improve in the next 2 years. And Jordan, who is the forward line coach?
It's Robert Harvey, isn't it?
What did Robert Harvey do so well throughout his career?
Kick the ball inside 50.
I mean, off the park.
I don't know. He was a good interim coach for a while.
He trained better in his 21st season than anyone else on the list. And you don't think that mentality and that attitude will get sort of sprinkled down to the forward line?
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, Max.
I think you're being overly critical on Max.
No, I'm not. Like, I think people are getting the wrong message. I'm saying that if a very good offer was to come along, I would entertain the idea. I'm not saying Max is terrible. I'm not saying he's not, going to improve at all. And I'm actually a big fan of Max. But what I'm saying here is that I think that there are certain attributes of his personality from, obviously I don't know him that well, but from what I can see on the footy field, that will limit his ceiling. So I'm thinking to cash in on him while he's got as much currency as we can.
This feels like the what was the debate we had earlier on in the year? The Mitch Owens one. This feels like that you've just sparked something that's going to last the entire offseason now between us two. But
I don't know. But Chris agrees with me. I want to clarify that I don't hate Max King. I just think that his ceiling is not as high as some people would like him to be. But I would love his ceiling to be raised. I would love nothing more than to look like a complete fucking idiot in 3 years' time. He's won a Coleman. He's even won a Brownlow medal. Like, what I'm saying, I have the best interests of the St Kilda Football Club at heart. I want to win a premiership in my lifetime, and hopefully that's going to happen, because if it doesn't, that's really embarrassing. Hopefully I've got another at least, 50, 60 years left. But I want what's best for the club, and that's just my opinion.
Naga, good comment.
Would you trade King for Harley Reid?
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
Silly. For an unproven midfielder, absolutely not. No, we've turned into First Take, Jordan. I don't know if viewers you watch First Take with what used to be Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, but I think it's now Shannon Sharp, maybe. Anyway, that's what this feels like. We're going for big headlines here, but why not? It's the off season. We're allowed to. Anyway, moving on. Jordan, did you want to do a Jordan Squiggle Jiggle?
Yes, we can go back into Jordan's Squiggle Jiggle, and I should have a little jingle for this now, like Joycey and Marshy and Jake all have their jingles. Joycey can make one for my Squiggle Jiggle. But if we take a look at Squiggle's ladder ratings, so Squiggle does, they analyse what the experts thought of the ladder prediction. Analyse how accurate the experts, and I say experts sarcastically, all the writers for the Age and, the Herald, like the Kane Corns of the world and whatever, how accurate they were. And what did we find? If I can't find the clip I can't find the point that I was going to make. So that was just a waste of time. But the point was that no one who did well had St Kilda in their top 8.
Yeah, wasn't it only what's his name? Tom Brown. He was the only sort of. Wait, is it Tom Brown?
Tim Watson was the only person to
Watson. Sorry,
have us in
thank
the
you.
eight.
Yeah, he was the only person to have us in the 8. And yeah, I don't know. Arch. Last week there was a really really good point made, and it was 2020 was awesome. We won a final. We lost one. We got a lot of experience then, but it means absolutely nothing because we did nothing in 2022. 2021. Very little in 2022. We didn't build off the finals, right? And Jordan, you've said it on the show before that success isn't linear, and it never will be, and it never has been. So I don't think whether we like everyone wants to make finals and maybe even top 4 or whatever, but realistically, if making finals, we miss finals next year, but the progress and the formation of the next sort of 5 years is there to play finals consistently and build something towards a premiership. I would 100% take that over what we've just had, where we've seen, I don't know, I think we listed off last week, it was like 10 to 15 players that played in the 2 finals that aren't even on our list anymore or aren't getting games. Like you think Dan Hanbury, Paddy Ryder, Shane Savage played in the final, Ben Long, what's his name? Marsh. What's his name? Matt. No, not Matt Marsh.
Jonathan Marsh.
Jonathan Marsh. Right, like there was so many players.
Shane Savage.
I said him. Jack Loney played in. Jake Carlisle. Like there was so like it feels like a lifetime ago that final happened, but it was only 3-4 years ago, and we did nothing from that. So it's making this final is a fresh start, I reckon. And it's now about, can we just build off of it? Build off of, getting those cleaner entries inside forward 50. Can we prove that we are a healthy team? Because it's about proving that. That's not like, there's an element of luck, but it's how you sort of prepare yourself in the off season. It's how you prepare yourself for trainings. I think more than ever, and Jordan, feel free to jump in here. I don't think I've trusted the coaching staff more than I think I ever have as my time as a Saints fan. Like, Corey Enright has proven both under Brett Ratton and Ross Lyon that his structure works. Lenny Hayes, I think, probably has work to do, but I'll give him the pass this year just because the midfield is very, very weak, but he's got good talent coming through there. And Robert Harvey did his best with Zane Cordy playing full forward for better part of a year. So, I think that there's a lot of excitement to be had over the next few years, and whether it's linear progression or more likely non-linear, it's exciting time to be Saints fans.
Yep, fair enough. I've seen a comment earlier about David King's top 8. He did not have St Kilda in it. This was his: Melbourne, Brisbane, Richmond, Collingwood, Bulldogs, Sydney, Geelong, Carlton. So not very good. Do you remember your ladder prediction, Max? The only parts of it I remember that I'm proud of was the fact that I had Port Adelaide in the top 4. I actually had them 3rd, which is where they finished, but I also had Collingwood missing the top 8. So, take that as you will. Do you remember anything about your top 8 prediction?
Did we do our ladder prediction on Saints TV Live?
I don't think so. I wrote it down somewhere. I can't, but the only part I remember is that I had Port Adelaide 3rd, which I'm pretty chuffed about. But yeah, as I mentioned, Collingwood not finishing in the top 8 when they finished first in the ladder and probably win the flag. That's a bit of an oopsie.
Yeah, no, I've got no clue. So I'm just trying to find where mine is. Hopefully I've written it down somewhere. Oh, hello. No, I haven't. But I've pulled up my team from the start of the season, and geez, was I wrong about that. But never mind. I was pretty wrong about that. Pretty opportunistic as well. No, I think the only one I would have had, that no one else would have had, was Saints in the 8, because I think I believed in us pretty early on. But that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Let us know, Sainers, if you had any amazing calls or any shockers in your ladder predictions. But Max, what are your thoughts on? Obviously, we've seen a lot of footy recently. What are your thoughts on the other finals games that have happened? Have you been excited by them? Have you watched all of them?
Yeah, I've watched most of them, and I think the biggest thing, the ball is one from the midfield. We've touched on that. That's going to be the theme of not only tonight but the off season, the next couple of years. Um, Ball's one in the midfield, right? You think the best midfielders are the most experienced ones. So you've got Tom Green, who's still only 22, but then you had Cornelio. He played on the weekend, right, against Port Adelaide.
Yep.
You had Kelly as well, who's sort of in his prime, 26, 27 years old. Toby Green ran through there. And then you've got on the wings on the outer side, you've got Finn Callahan, who's 20 years old, and Toby Bedford, who's not old as well. I think he's in his early 20s, 21 maybe. But you've got your experienced best players in the midfield. You've got your youngsters supporting them, and then pinch hitting through the midfield if you need. And then sort of everyone else sets themselves out. But I also think the spread in the forward line, you think Collingwood, they don't like Dan McStay, but he's not a powerhouse full forward. But they still kick goals because they move for everyone. Everyone moves for each other. Everyone supports each other. GWS, Jesse Hogan. Well, I mean, he's sort of come into form recently, but historically not been an amazing full forward. But the Giants win one-on-one battles in that forward line because they give each other space. And then who else is in the finals?
Brisbane, but they've got
Brisbane
tools.
and Carlton.
Carlton also have tools. But yeah, what you're saying, Max, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that a team that might not have a dynamite full forward, might just have like an average full forward, but as long as the others lead around the football and have high footy IQ and are constantly working for each other, they can be successful teams.
Not exactly.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what your point was.
No, sorry. Because
I think you know what I'm trying to get at here.
no, I know you're trying to link it back to your Max King comment. No.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that even though those teams, but Carlton has Charlie Curnow, a dominant forward, right? And I think they actually play better with Harry Mackay out of the side because they give each other more room.
Oh, they definitely do. I'm not sure Harry Mackay knows he's playing for just on that, how ridiculous were those two misses? That was hilarious.
Yeah. Anyway, but Charlie Curnow, goal kicker, right? And he creates for his teammates, and every forward in the Carlton forward line gives each other space. Every forward in the Brisbane forward line gives each other space. Danaher kicked 50-something goals and counting. Charlie Cameron also kicked about 50 goals, if not 40 plus, right? So you've got two guys that are up there in the Coleman medal race, or at least in the top 10 for that. Then you go to Collingwood, Jamie Elliott, he's amazing. He pretty much is the full forward. And then you go to GWS, Toby Green kicks a lot of goals. Jesse Hogan's kicked a fair few goals this season. So there is set targets in their forward line, but everyone gives each other space to operate and to roam the forward 50, whereas I don't think we do that.
Yep, fair enough. All right. Who's going to win the Brownlow?
This one I was proud of all year. I remember my pick for this. I picked Bontempelli at the start of the season. He looks like he should win it this year. He got robbed of... Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry, but no disrespect to Ollie Wines, but Marcus Bontempelli was better that year, and Marcus Bontempelli is probably the best player currently not to have a Brownlow medal, so he'll get one this year, hopefully.
Yeah, I still think Nick Dacos has done enough to win it. I think he's got enough votes in the bank. I think he's just the type of player, accumulates disposals. You can criticise how he gets those disposals, but you can't lie, he is a class player. Elite kicking. We would really like to have someone like Nick Dacos at St Kilda, elite kicking off halfback. To imagine Dacos and Sinclair off halfback. Oh my goodness.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I was going to say, because did you just say that we wish we had someone like Nick Dacos, an elite kick off halfback?
Well, we do. We have Jack Sinclair, but would you not like two elite kickers off halfback?
Are you forgetting about Naz?
I reckon he should play. Well, the reason I said that is because I reckon he should play on the wing rather than halfback. I reckon he's better suited there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But look, I'm sure he'll take over that winger role when Bradley Hill in a couple of years' time sort of did the Paddy Ryder mentorship with Rowan Marshall. Rowan Marshall is now flourished from his apprenticeship with Paddy Ryder, you would expect that Naz has taken sort of that apprenticeship from Hilly, just learning the craft of the wing, and probably his good housemate Mason Wood is teaching him how to play that wing role as well, moving forward. So yeah, I don't know. I think that, yeah, as we said, there's going to be a lot of internal development. I think it's going to be more about a list clear out than a list sort of getting a lot of free agents in, mainly because there's not a lot of them on the market. So expect to see a lot more 1-year deals being offered. Jakey said on Saints TV Weekly, you'd probably expect someone like a Zach Jones to get 1-year contract, see what he can do, and then evaluate next season when there's a few more options to go after. But yeah, Mitch Owens, Naz, Philippou, Caminiti probably plays less games next year, but you hope he develops. James Van Ness we didn't get to see this year, who I'm really, really keen on having a look at next year. And then Marcus Windhager, who I forgot to mention. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of internal development, which is really exciting. And hopefully those senior players step up, because otherwise they think, oh, shit, one of those younger guys is going to take my spot.
Yep, fair enough. All right, well, we usually do the score prediction, the one word for how you're feeling, and the player to have a big game. But unfortunately, there is no Saints game this weekend. So I guess we might just have to wrap it up there. Thank you all for tuning in to this show, whether you're watching for the first time now or whether you've only watched a couple episodes or you've been here the whole way. We appreciate all of you. We had no idea that this... Well, if you told me 12 months ago that we'd be hosting a regular show on Saints TV, I'd ask you to take your meds. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, and we can't thank you enough for your support, for tuning in and leaving your comments. Max, did you want to say anything?
No, that was awesome, Jordan. Nice words, as always. No, so we're going to take the week off next week. We're going to reset for a big episode on the 2nd of October. That is the Saints Best and Fairest watch along. So it will be better part 2.5 hours, 3 hours of you watching our faces watch the BNF. But we're hoping to spice things up. I don't think I've presented the idea to Jakey yet, but Jordan and I might try and get Ari on from last week for some cameos. Dino might join us. And yeah, maybe some familiar faces that you've seen on Saints TV throughout the year. Maybe they hop on and not only boost the mood of or keep you all the Saints entertained, but give Jordan and I a second, third, fourth wind as we progress on the marathon that is 2 Monday nights from now.
Yep. Saints, let us know. I'm just going to put in the comments who would you like to join the boys on next Monday night? We'll see, because obviously this channel is all about you guys. Well, okay, technically it's about the St Kilda Football Club, but we're delivering we're delivering content tailored to you guys. So let us know what you would prefer, who you want to see, and we'll try and organise that. Unfortunately, you do have to see our mugs. You can't say, oh, we don't want Jordan or we don't want Max. Maybe some of you not wanting me after the Max King call. Maybe some of you disliking Max after the Seb Ross call. But at the end of the day, we're all Sainers, and we all want what's best for the club. It's no hard feelings. Are you actually suiting up? Well, Jake's asked us to suit up. So, the Godfather does run the channel. We have to listen to him, but we'll see whether we suit up or not. Maybe it'll just be just suit jackets. Maybe just blazers or something. But maybe it'll be a full suit. You never know. I mean, I did appear in a Woody outfit, so we bring a lot of eccentricity to Saints TV. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jordan. Just before we officially do our little punchline to wrap it up, by no means do Jordan and I hate anyone on the St Kilda list. We get into heated debates. We love it. We love chatting, and we love putting, not controversial, but we love putting sort of topics out there that we know will boost conversation, because I think the best form of chatting about any sports and really anything in general is to have opposing views, and obviously respecting everyone's views, but opposing views makes for the best conversation. And not only is that entertainment, but it's the most fun way to interact with sports, we reckon. So there is absolutely zero hate towards any of the players, even if it might come across it in our debates. We love everyone at St Kilda, and we hope nothing but the best for all players, staff, people involved at the club.
Yep, and just a cheeky insight, they might not be these controversial opinions might not be our real views. They might just be something that we get for clicks and for engagement. You'll have to stick around next year, watch us next year to find out whether they're our true opinions or not. I'll leave that up to you guys to make your own decisions. But yeah, we just might wrap it up there. Max, any last comments you want to add?
No, I think we've summed it up quite well tonight. So yeah, we'll have the week off and join you back for the BNF. Yeah, thank you guys for all your support this year. We won't do an official sort of goodbye to you guys. We'll save that. I think we've got a couple more shows to do that are scheduled in for the year. But on that note, we'll leave it there. There is no podcast this week, but there will be Jake's full season review out hopefully on Wednesday. You've got the AFLW podcast talking AFCW with Marshy. And yeah, there's plenty of Saints content going around, and there's also finals footy. So yeah, there's a lot going on still in the AFL world just because the Saints season's over.
Yep, there is a lot going on in the AFL world. I cannot believe I'm doing this on a Saints channel, but up the mighty Pies. But not on that note, but on a different note, Max, do you hear that?
No, what is it?
Oh, I think there's someone at the door. Hang on.
Ooh.